Afternoon, Deep.
Afternoon, you okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you.
3 games in a week now, a good 6 or so over the next month. How key is rest and recovery at this stage of the season?
Yeah, it's very key. The load management of the players that we're giving them at the moment is very important. We want them to peak for the games. We've got a 3-game week next week, so that's very important. And then we've got the Easter weekend after that, so we have to make sure that the load management is really good, and we've got really good staff here at Aston Villa who help us with that. So training's been very good again, as it always has been. I've always said since I've been here, the players' attitude and application to wanting to improve has been second to none. So we're the ones having to rein them in a little bit at the moment.
Do you have to change those methods at all in training, given the amount of games?
Yeah, when you've got games, it's more about recovery after the games. The important people, would you believe, then are the ones who haven't played. We've got to make sure that they get good training sessions and they're ready. Should they be required for the next game? So making sure that we're on top of their fitness levels and they're getting the exposure required. Should they be called up to play?
Yeah, I was going to say, given the schedule, how nice to perhaps have more players available than perhaps you ever had since you've been here.
Yeah, no, it's been very nice. We've had good numbers on the training ground. I think we spoke quite a lot about the players coming back. We've recently had Jack come back. We've got Axel Twansby training. We've got Henry Lansbury training. And on top of that, Alan Hutton's running, James Chester's running, and Tommy Elphick's running as well. So we've got them 3 looking to push forward as well.
In terms of the playoff chase, a big one this weekend. Where do you think it goes down to in terms of who can still make it?
I don't know.
Don't look at the table.
No, I just, there's 7 games to go. There's a lot of points to play for, and anybody can go and put in a run at any time. We just have to, again, I know, so sorry being a bit boring, but concentrate on our own game and see where that takes us.
And I think technically now it's back in our hands, considering we have to play Bristol and Bristol play Derby. How important is that? Yeah,
it's important. We've still got a tough game first against Sheffield Wednesday, where we've got to go and put in a performance to get 3 points. And if you can go and do that, then you've still then got to go and beat Rotherham. And if you do that, hopefully then it's in our hands when we play Bristol City. But until then, we've just got to concentrate on what we're doing.
Does that give it added spice this weekend? Perhaps one that both sides can't afford to lose?
Yeah, it makes it a really intriguing game. But for the past 4 or 5, 6 games, every game we've had has been intriguing. Because if we would have lost, people would have felt, it's going to be tough to make the top 6. As it is, we've won the last 5, so all of a sudden, people are seeing it as potential 6-pointers. But for ourselves, it's just thinking about the strengths and weaknesses of the opposition, what we can do to hurt them, what strengths they've got to hurt us, and looking to get the better of them on the day.
Yeah, what kind of game do you expect at Hillsborough?
Well, they've gone 10 or 11, I think, unbeaten, and I think it's 11, won 5, drew 6. Look very organised. They've got good players coming back from injury as well. Hooper's come back, Forestieri's come back. So it's going to be a tight game. Should be a really good crowd there. I think we've sold out our tickets behind the goal, which will be a great following again for us. But it's one that we're looking forward to, but we're very respectful of the players that they've got.
Yeah, that unbeaten run you mentioned, does that add extra incentive perhaps to go and beat them?
I think it does for both. We won 5 on the spin, and they're unbeaten in 11. So one of them will certainly go this weekend, and we're hopeful it's their unbeaten run.
Good to see Tammy back on the score sheet last week. Do you still think he can finish top scorer in this division? I think he's 2 behind now.
Yeah, no, I've got a great belief in him. He scores a lot of goals inside that 6-yard box. His movement is really good. He finds and creates space for others. And his finishing is getting better and better. And I certainly feel that we've the 7 games to go. He can certainly go and score another 5 or 6, and certainly propel himself to the top of the goal scoring charts.
How important are those goals going to be in this running?
Yeah, very important. And as I've said before, I'll reiterate now that whilst these goals are important, it's important that other players are also chipping in, and I think we've had that in recent games as well. Tyrone Mings scored a header last week. Before, we've had John McGinn scoring. Jack Grealish has started getting in amongst goals. Al Ghazi scored. So we're getting goals from different areas of the pitch now, and that's always important. And it certainly takes off a lot of the pressure off young Tammy.
1 month as captain for Jack Grealish. Fair to say it's gone pretty well. Have you noticed any differences in his behaviour over the last month?
No, I mean, I said before when I first came here, he looks and appeared to be a lot more mature than probably my perception of him from the outside the club was. And he's certainly took on the responsibility of being the leader of the group really well, and he certainly thrived on it. His performances have shown that. But off the pitch as well, he looks like he's really enjoyed taking that responsibility and leadership on. And I think it's made him into a more rounded person as well. So he's very respectful of everybody anyway. But I think he likes looking after the players, and whether it be sorting out their tickets or making sure they know what time we should be somewhere. And he's doing really well at the job so far.
In terms of injuries and availability, Henry Lansbury didn't make the squad last week. Was that he wasn't quite ready, or was that purely a selection decision?
No, that was purely a selection issue. I said Tyrone had got a knock on the knee on the Friday, and with just the one defending Axel, who I could put on the bench, I just thought it was important that we had Melee on there as well. And we had some midfielders and forwards on there. We had 2 forwards, I think, with Kodge and Keenan, Albert. So Connor had come back as well. So, at the moment I'm having problems not just picking my team but picking my bench. So that was another problem that the players coming back are giving me, which is really important for us to have that strength.
And how soon do Hutton, Elphick, Chester add to that problem? Is it still a case that they'll feature this season?
Well, I'm hopeful that all 3 of them will feature this season, and that they'll all be knocking on my door wanting to be involved. So that's the position I want to be in, and we've only got a month of the regular season to go. Hopefully we have a little bit more to go after that. But we've got to work hard and make sure that we've got healthy competition, and medical staff have certainly got the players back on time.
Just lastly, Tom Carroll's picked up an injury, has had to go back to Swansea. Can you just explain the situation there?
Yeah, he's had a recurrence of the injury. He's broken down a few times since he's been here. He had an injury before he came here, and then recovered from that. Came and trained well with us, got on against Reading and felt it slightly. And then he's trained really well for 2 weeks. Came on a sub against Derby, I think it was. But last week he broke down again, and he was just in too much pain. So it's a hip injury, and he went to see a specialist, and the advice was that to get an operation on it, which I believe he's had now, and we wish him a speedy recovery, and just disappointed that we didn't get to see the best out of him.
Cheers, Dean. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.